mutation that we're looking for is a mistake in as few as one of those nucleotides. It may be more, it may be as little as one. And when we start looking for it, we don't know where it is, and we don't know what we're looking for. And a crucial thing to understand is that all that DNA is copied every single time a cell divides. So when you've got your, and I'm going to go over this again, once you've got your egg and your sperm, and they fertilize, and at that stage you've got a single cell with one copy of all this DNA. That cell divides into two. All those 2,500 million nucleotides of DNA are copied, so that each cell ends up with its own copy, complete copy. And every time one of those cells divides, that DNA is all copied again. And you can really think of DNA as being responsible for every aspect of your dog and every aspect of you that is not directly controlled by the environment. So things like our diet, the pathogens, the viruses we're exposed to, that all classes as environments, and they all have an effect on us and how well we are, and to some extent what we look like. But everything else that's not direct environment is due to our DNA, which we have no control over at all. So now I've just got one slide here to try and show you very, very briefly what DNA does in our body, why it's there. The DNA, I've said we can think of it as beads on a string. It's actually a double row of beads. So you've got these G, C's, T's and A's, and a G and a C are always paired together, and an A and a T are always paired together. And then there's a process that goes on in our cells called transcription, which turns DNA into another molecule that's very similar. It's called RNA, and the only difference is instead of T's, there's a U. And then that DNA is read in blocks of 3, which is called a codon, and each codon specifies a particular, what we call amino acid. So proteins are made up of amino acids, and each amino acid has its very own 3 nucleotide codon. And our normal functioning healthy body are very they need proteins to be exactly right in many cases. And once you start getting variation in the sequence of the DNA nucleotides, that can lead to RNA not being quite right, and the sequence of amino acids in the protein to be not quite right. Certain mutations leave the proteins too short, certain mutations leave the proteins too long, certain mutations result in the proteins being absent. Very, very complicated. I could talk about that for a couple of hours just in itself. But the take-home message, actually, again on this slide, is that it's the sequence of nucleotides along the DNA that is crucially important, and that you can really think of DNA as a code or a blueprint for every physical characteristic of your dog that's not determined by the environment, as I said before. As I've also said, all those 2,500 million nucleotides of DNA are copied every time a cell divides. So it's really an enormous photocopying task. As the fertilized egg divides and the puppy develops, just an enormous photocopying task. And it's inevitable that mistakes arise in the sequence of nucleotides along the DNA. And those mistakes are called mutations. Now, the cellular machinery of our bodies is extremely good at noticing those mistakes when they happen and repairing them. So most mutations that happen, we never know about, they're just repaired. But occasionally, a tiny minority persist and stick around and get replicated in the next generation. Now, most mutations that happen have no effect at all. So some parts of the DNA can cope with variation, and the variation, the mutations that happen in those parts of the DNA mutations are what makes evolution possible and helps things to adapt and evolve. So many mutations are good and lead to the animal being fitter and better and healthier. But it's the small number of sort of deleterious mutations that we're worried about, and those are the ones that can cause an inherited disease. That's all more or less. So the DNA in the cells, it's not just all flowing around on its own. It's bundled up into these parcels called chromosomes. A dog has got 38 pairs of chromosomes, and every cell in the body has 38 pairs of chromosomes. The only cells that don't have pairs of chromosomes are the gametes, the eggs and the sperm. And they have just one copy of all the DNA. So they have one of each chromosome. So one each, and this is an egg. I've not shown all 38 chromosomes because that would be a bit much. I've shown just 3. Autosomes are the name given to sort of the ordinary chromosomes. So each egg has 38 autosomes. Each sperm has 38 autosomes. And then each egg has a sex chromosome, which is, in the case of the eggs, an X chromosome. And each sperm also has a sex chromosome. Half the sperm have X chromosomes and half the sperm have Y chromosomes. And then upon fertilization, the egg and the sperm fuse and the chromosomes join up. So now we've got pairs of chromosomes. So 2 copies of chromosome 1, 2 copies of chromosome 2, 2 copies of chromosome 3, and 2 sex chromosomes. And it's the sperm that determines whether it's an X or a Y, and so it's the male dog always that determines the sex of the puppies. So when Henry VIII was chopping the heads off his wives because they didn't produce him any sons, it was actually his fault. Okay, so the fertilized egg has got 38 pairs of autosomes, 1 pair of sex chromosomes, and all that DNA is copied every time that cell divides. So now I'm going to try to show you how, once a mutation has occurred, so these mutations happen randomly and spontaneously, and there are things that you can do to cells to make them more likely to have mutations, but for most of us just walking around, or dogs just walking around, there's nothing that we can do really to make those mutations happen or stop those mutations happening. They happen all by themselves. But what I want to show you is once such mutation has occurred, how it can pass through a population to a state where it can become quite widespread. So what I'm showing you here, this is just a cartoon of a pair of chromosomes from a particular dog. Could be a dog, could be a bitch, where the mutation occurred. So obviously that dog has got other pairs of chromosomes, 37 other pairs of autosomes and a pair of sex chromosomes, but I'm not going to show all that. So I'm just going to focus on the one pair of chromosomes where this mutation happened. And I've coloured the 2 chromosomes on that dog red and blue. We can tell the chromosomes apart. I'm not going to really go into great detail about how we can do that. It's all to do with subtle variation in the sequence of nucleotides along the chromosome. But you don't really need to worry too much how we do it. Just be aware that we can tell the dog's got 2 copies of all its DNA, and we can distinguish 1 copy from the other copy. So here's our founding dog, way back when, has 2 chromosomes, and a mutation occurs on one of those chromosomes that causes a recessive disease. Now, if that dog never breeds, never has any offspring, that mutation will just die with that